Hi there, this is Andreas with ExpressPads Finger Drumming, and in this video I want to show you how you can use MPE with the Midi Poly Grid app. And I have to say that MPE is actually nothing that I've used before, so before I got this app, and therefore I'm certainly not the best to really explain the concept of MPE. I'm learning it myself, but what I can show you is how you can set MPE up with this app. And by doing so, you might notice a few glitches. I don't know where they're coming from. They're certainly not coming from my CPU. Maybe they're coming from Wavetable in Ableton Live, but I don't know. Maybe it's the way I set everything up, but I hope you don't have glitches if you want to repeat what I do here. And I also hope that it's, of course, not the app that's causing it, but if so, there will certainly be an update at some point, but I can't really tell you where it's coming from. That's just like a little disclaimer here. But in order to show you what I do in order to set it up, I first of all want to show you what you can do with MPE. So I have prepared a little patch in Wavetable and Ableton Live. So Wavetable is a wavetable synthesizer, and it's really powerful, and I know a lot of people use it and love it, but I have never used it before. But when I went into it, I've seen a huge modulation matrix and a huge MPE matrix. If you are not a synth guy, you probably don't know what modulation matrix means, but it's in principle a way to tell the synthesizer how to interpret incoming MIDI signals. And in this case, you can define which kind of MIDI input signals you want to send it using the Midi Poly Grid app. And the things that you can send, I will show you, are when you go to the advanced page and you are on MPE pen mode, then you will see down here the 2D modulation area. And this one will give you the opportunity to choose one input for the x-axis and one for the y-axis. It's basically the same menu when you go out of it and into the other one, and the other ones are grayed out, which are currently used by the second axis. Okay, so you have pitch bend, aftertouch pressure, slide, pen, gain, and none. And if you look now into Ableton or whatever other MPE applicable synth you use, in Ableton Wavetable you will see in the matrix that you can use these types of signals like press, slide, note pitch bend, and velocity in order to control a number of different targets that you see down here in this column. And as you can see, there are only a few spots that I've used, and I used them very purposefully, because if you look at other presets that you find for Wavetable in Ableton, it can be pretty overwhelming. So look at this one here. So here you have an MPE matrix, which is pretty crowded, and in addition to this you have a modulation matrix with other modulation sources like the amp envelope, then the envelopes 1 and 2 and LFO 1 and 2, controlling to a certain extent, and that's what the number stands for, those different targets here. And you can imagine if you have so many sources controlling or altering the sound, then it's really difficult to understand what actually is controlling what. So if I move my finger, there are a couple of things going on, and if your ears are really trained to hearing a filter cutoff sweep, then you will know what has been going on here, or pulse width modulation. But if you're not, it's just a change of sound for you, right? And that's the reason why I actually wanted to start very simple and actually keep it very simple. I'm not diving any deeper than that here. But what you see is with one, so the note pitch bend, I'm controlling the filter 1 cutoff and the filter 2 cutoff. And with the slide parameter, which I put on the other axis, I'm controlling the oscillator 1 pulse width. If this is all a language that you don't understand, I'm sorry, I can't go any deeper than this. And as I said at another point, I mean, synthesis is a whole universe and a beautiful one, but yeah, so it's a change of sound that I'm applying here, and the way I do it is I just move my finger from the center position of the pad to any direction within this XY pad. And here you can see I'm moving the filter cutoff, and in the matrix there's this little bar that's moving up and down, which is actually indicating the amount of modulation that I'm applying, and the same goes for the oscillator pulse width, when I go up and down. And the thing is, you can use different types of modulations here, or signal types. For example, the pitch bend up and down mode is currently selected, but you can also go pitch bend only up. So when you move out of the center in this case, it only goes up. Whereas when you use the pitch bend up and down, in one direction it will go up, and in the other direction it will go down. And you might ask yourself, okay, you're talking about pitch, why is the pitch not changing? Why is only the frequency changing? And the reason for this is that you can use different signal types, or for example, in this case, the pitch bend signal to control something else than pitch bend. I mean, I could do a pitch bend modulation by searching it here, it is here, and also applying it the way you probably would expect it. So that would be an additional layer of modulation that apply to this sound. And you can really go crazy. Yeah, you can change so many things. And if you want to know what those sounds are doing, or these parameters are doing, just pick a sound, move to a position on the pad, and then try to check if something is actually happening here. You see LFO rate, no LFO is applied in the first place, so nothing will happen there. But oscillator panning should do something. Yeah, so it does. And whenever you move now, you also move the oscillator panning, right? Yeah, that's a very, very, very short overview of what MPE can do, but it's rather a setup video, not a creativity booster video. I think if you dive deep enough into this and spend a bit of time with it, you will probably have quite some good creative ideas, and that's basically what I want to tell you, and just encourage you to experiment. But one more thing, or two more things I want to say about the app that you should know. The size of the area, similar to the polyphonic aftertouch, you can control it over here. Then you have the dead zone, where actually no modulation is applied in this area, similar to the polyphonic aftertouch as well. And then you have this combination of note release delay and modulation ease back, which I also explained in the polyphonic aftertouch section. It will have different timing effects on certain parameter changes, and you should play around with them to dial in the amount that makes sense to you when you use it. So in this case, the modulation ended earlier than the sound itself, and when I turn it around like this, it will be the other way around. It might be not that obvious in this case because I have a huge reverb on this preset, but play around with it. You will notice the differences when you get deeper into it. And finally, I want to say this is polyphonic as well, so you can do one thing on one pad and something else on another.